Welcome to my booth. I am pretty sure you're familiar with me already through other videos that I have filmed previously, but here is specifically a little bit about the techniques that I use to make my jewelry. As I've mentioned in the past, I'm all about textures and contrast. So I wanted to tell you just a little bit of how I achieve that desired result. One of my favorite techniques is casting, and I specifically like natural materials casting. So here I have pieces that I made a mold out of with a plaster-like material, and the mold is burned out in the kiln, so all the natural materials, all the twigs are actually gone, and the space they leave is then filled with silver to recreate the piece. So I have succulents and little water cast buttons and twigs. This is a metal alloy called shibuishi, which is silver and copper, which I also oxidized. This used to be a real acorn that I found in the forest, right like this on the twig. But I did take it off the cap and carve it hollow so it wouldn't be as heavy. And here we have another cast twig with a flower. I have adorable little cedar buds that come as a little set or separately. Abstract broom casting, where you literally pour metal over broom, and it produces very interesting and very unique shapes. And then this was literally pasta. This is trottole. Used to be made of wheat, now it's made out of silver. And this is also from broom casting. So when you pour molten metal on top of straw in different patterns, you can get really interesting shapes, which I then use to make all kinds of pieces. They're studs. These are water cast little buttons too. Here are natural material cast twigs. These are burlap earrings. This was actual burlap that is now silver. These ones are dogwood berries. Another technique that I absolutely love is called reticulation. That's when fine silver is treated with a torch in a way that the surface bubbles and moves and creates all kind of interesting patterns and ripples. By adding gold to these pieces, I get that contrast and that little accent in the piece and the contrast that I really like. So I either use patina on the silver, or I'll add little stones. This is amethyst and 14 karat gold on sterling silver. Some more abstract earrings here. I have shiny silver and patinaed silver with and without stones. This is absolutely my favorite technique, so this is what I do the most. And another way here, these pieces are made with an ancient Korean technique called kambu. So these are actually This is gold that has been applied using heat and pressure. I am not attached to gold in the sense that I can create contrasts with other metals, like base metals. So here is another example of how I do that. In this necklace, and oh my god, it's so fun. That is bronze. And same in this ring. I use little bronze accents with my texture. I love the contrasts not only in colors but in textures too. So if you see how smooth bronze mixes with reticulated rippled silver. Here are more of little bronze nugget pieces, like these ballerina earrings, which I love. There's some other pieces there with bronze that would go together as a set, including a necklace. And these bronze drop babes, these were made out of metal clay and fired in a kiln, which also burns out the binder and leaves just the silver behind. And here, that's my texture, and the contrast comes from the bronze and from the contrast of the smooth versus rough texture. A little cuff made out of wires, and this is, I call this one birds on the wire. So another technique to create texture is etching. There are several different kinds of etching. You can etch base metals with salt water. With silver, I use a nitric acid, diluted nitric acid solution. Etching is drawing straight on the metal and then letting acid dissolve the rest of the pattern. So all of these I hand drew directly on silver, or in case of these ones, I actually covered the whole sheet with something called asphaltum and then drew the lines in it so it would have the opposite effect and have more edgier look. Obviously, there are many more techniques to create the color and contrast and texture that I crave, but you have to pick your favorites. Here are some other things that I've done. I wanted to show this resin piece. This is resin inlay in sterling silver. It was 3 weeks of work. I have some stone setting pieces with garnets, malachites. This is a fire citrine. And here is a quick view of the rings that are currently in my shop. There are some dainty ones with enamel, with cast wax. There are some stones in them, pearls. Some are carved out of wax. Some are fabricated from sheet and wire. So this was all. Thank you for joining me and letting me tell you about my passion. Check out my shop for other pieces that I haven't shown here.